When you hear the word vampire, what comes to your mind? Humans who drink human blood. Creatures afraid of sunlight. Sleeping inside coffins. Since childhood, this is exactly how movies have shown them to us. But is this really true? One day in Florida, a group of teenagers arrived at a police station to file a missing person report for their friend, Zara. They said Zara was supposed to meet them the previous day, but she never showed up. Her phone had been switched off since then, and no one had any idea where she suddenly disappeared. The police had just started writing the report when an unusual call came into the station. On the phone, all they could hear was someone crying and screaming. No matter how many questions they asked, there was no response. The police traced the number and immediately headed out. While tracking the call, they ended up several kilometers away from Florida city limits, but the exact location was still unclear. Suddenly, two officers, Brad and Derek, noticed someone lying unconscious on the roadside. They stopped their van and rushed toward the person. The unconscious girl was none other than Zara. Her friends had provided a photograph during the report, so the officers recognized her immediately. Zara's body had turned bluish, and blood was dripping from her left arm. The officers quickly rushed her to the hospital. After examining her, doctors told the police something horrifying. Zara's blood had been continuously drained from her body for 2 days, which explained her extreme weakness. At first, the case looked like a kidnapping or criminal assault. But then the doctors revealed details that shocked everyone. 3 of Zara's teeth were missing. There were burn marks on her hands, and strange symbols were carved on her, back in an unknown language. After seeing all this, Brad and Derek were convinced that Zara had been kidnapped by a highly dangerous group. Brad handed over samples taken from Zara's clothes to Derek for forensic analysis and decided to investigate the area himself that same night. After driving for nearly an hour, Brad reached a forest far outside the city. He arrived at the exact spot where Zara had been found and continued further down the road. But after some time, he realized something terrifying. He had returned to the same place from where he had started. Confused and frightened, Brad suddenly noticed several blood-covered, strange-looking people approaching his vehicle. Their faces were horrifying, and they slowly moved closer. Terrified, Brad grabbed his gun from the back seat and aimed at them. But in the next moment, they were gone. Before Brad could escape, an overwhelming sleepiness took over him, as if someone had cast a spell. When he woke up, he found himself tied to a table. A pipe was connected to his arm, transferring his blood into a bottle. Sitting in front of him was a young man and a woman who looked completely normal. They were casually talking and eating. Brad reached a forest far outside the city. He arrived at the exact spot where Zara had been found. He had returned to the same place from where he had started. Confused and frightened, Brad suddenly noticed several blood-covered, strange-looking people approaching his vehicle. Their faces were horrifying, and they slowly moved closer. Terrified, Brad grabbed his gun from the back seat and aimed at them. But in the next moment, they were gone. Overwhelming sleepiness took over him, as if someone had cast a spell. When he woke up, he found himself tied to a table. A pipe was connected to his arm, transferring his blood into a bottle. Sitting in front of him was a young man and a woman who looked completely normal. They were casually talking and eating food, but beside their meal was a bottle filled with blood, which they drank turn by turn. Brad froze in fear. He understood they were vampires. Looking around, Brad noticed black magic tools scattered across the room. There was also a pile of human teeth offerings meant to please dark powers. Now everything made sense. Zara had been captured by these people too. By nightfall, Brad had lost almost all his strength. But somehow, gathering his remaining courage, he managed to loosen the ropes and escape the house. Outside, he saw an old phone booth. From there, he called the police station. Luckily, Derek answered. Brad tried explaining everything, but Derek couldn't hear his voice. All he heard were cries and screams, just like the earlier mysterious call. Derek traced the call and rushed to the location. A short distance away, he found Brad lying unconscious at the same spot where Sarah had been found. Derek immediately took Brad to the hospital, but within moments, Brad died. Sarah didn't survive for long either. She also died due to severe blood loss. After these incidents, Derek began investigating the area day and night. Eventually, deep inside the forest, he discovered a small, abandoned house. Outside it stood a broken phone booth. No one was inside. After a thorough investigation, Derek and his team uncovered the truth. Behind everything was a secret vampire group. They survived by drinking human blood and used black magic to stay alive. After that day, no similar cases were reported in Florida. But stories of vampires like these exist all around the world. This story is based on a true incident. Do you believe in vampires? Let us know in the comments. And if one night you wake up and realize you've turned into a bat vampire, then you should definitely watch THAMES. I just watched it, and the movie is completely worth the money. In the film, Ayushman plays a journalist who falls in love with Rashmika. But Rashmika is a Betul, a supernatural being. According to the movie, Betuls were created to protect this world, yet they've been secretly living among humans. To find out, go watch THAMES in theaters. And if you like this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.